Hey everybody, welcome to Hub Day. It's Thursday. Some of you are doing hubs in the morning, some of you are doing hubs in the evening, some of you are in Toronto, some of you are in Vancouver, some of you are in Europe and all over the world. So we love serving you. We're so grateful to be putting this video out. And hey, just wanted to say a quick thank you. You know, Justin and I were talking earlier today about how grateful we are for every single person who's contributed to hubs in any way. Some of you have been leading, some of you have been just like taking your time to set up a Zoom. Some of you have been opening your home and you've been so consistent. Some of you have been just attending faithfully. Man, I can't tell you how blessed I am when I've been running hubs and someone's just been a faithful attender, never missing a hub and showing up. You know, we've been in one of the most difficult seasons we've ever faced, honestly, in my lifetime as a church. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been sowing into hubs directly from the bottom of our heart. And I really think from the bottom of God's heart. Thank you so much for the investment that you've made. Thank you so much for showing up and showing out. Some of you have been the recipients of the faithfulness of some of the leaders in your hub. And if you've been a recipient, if you've been blessed by, you know, the guy or the gal that's been throwing this hub every week, that's been contributing to the discussion, the fun lover, truth leader, whoever they are in your hub, can you just say a massive thank you to them tonight in hub and say, hey, thank you for doing this. Thank you for being committed. Thank you for being faithful. I've heard two things from people about hubs over the pandemic. One, that they're blessed by hub and they're so thankful. And two, that it's been more difficult than they thought because just the pressures of the pandemic and the Zoom thing and all of that. So thank you. Really, hubs has been the one thing in our calendar every week that we know people are able to get together, that we know people are being connected with, and it has made all the difference in the world through the pandemic. As we've been talking to churches all over North America, to be honest, people have been just saying, man, the pandemic's been challenging. For us, hubs have been that bedrock, and we have been so blessed by your leadership. So thank you so much. It's been amazing. We love you, and we're excited for tonight. We had a great message this weekend all about Elisha the prophet. And I just have a really quick encouragement for your discussion tonight in hubs. Pastor Calvin gave such a great message. And he really was talking about cheers and jeers. You know, in our Christian walk, there are two things that can often tempt us to be swayed from being obedient to the Lord. It's the cheers of people that sometimes can mask themselves as encouragement. You know, the cheers can look like encouragement, but sometimes the encouragement of people can manipulate you to doing their agenda instead of God's agenda. And the other thing that can really be a temptation to get off track is the jeers of people, the criticism of people. Elisha was the type of person that wasn't willing to succumb to pressure. He was solely focused on obeying God. And that's what I want us to talk about tonight or today, whenever you're doing hub. But I want you to talk about today in hub is the cheers and the jeers in the context of following Jesus, being obedient to God, being wholeheartedly committed to your call, to the thing that God's called you to do so that you can love him more, serve him more. Isn't it crazy how the pressure of people can stop us from fully engaging in our walk with the God of the universe? It's just insane. So here's the three questions that I have for you tonight. Number one, what is the pressure that tempts you to go off track in your walk with God? Is it more the cheers or the jeers? Or if you're honest, is it both? Like, let's just get honest with each other tonight and just say, hey, listen, the cheers don't bother me at all. When people are cheering me, I'm like, man, that's just flattery. I'm gonna keep following God. But really, it's the criticism and the jeers. That's what gets me. And why don't we all just go around and share? Is it the cheers or the jeers? Or maybe some of you, you're honest, you're like, it's both. Like sometimes the encouragement can get me, sometimes the jeers can get me, and I can get swayed and manipulated and distracted by those things, by the voices of other people, to not really go all in my relationship with God in these subtle moments. Here's number two. Can you remember a time that a cheer or a jeer made you compromise in your relationship with God? And what did you learn from that experience? Why don't we just share about a time we went off track? As a preacher, I got really good advice early on. It's not my strengths that people connect to, it's actually my weaknesses. Sometimes what's more encouraging than telling you how great I am is telling you a place that I've slipped up and God's been faithful to me. So why don't you do that in your hub? Why don't you just say, man, this one time, this group of people, they were praising me, they were encouraging me, but they had the wrong motives and I got off track. Or this one time I was so scared of getting jeered at. I was so scared of being roasted that I just literally got off track. Why don't you share that with your hub and encourage one another, and then tell us what you learned from that experience. And the last one is this: what is something you need to hear from your friends when you're being tempted? What's something you need to hear? What's a piece of encouragement from actually a wise person you need to hear? Or some correction that you need to get from friends? Why don't you let your hub in on that so they can be the type of friends that when you're being tempted, that when the cheers or the jeers are getting you off track, that they can give you this type of encouragement or this type of correction and help you get back on track so that you can be fully committed in your heart to God, fully committed in your heart to the plan of God in your life. So that's what I want you guys to talk about tonight. It's going to be amazing. Thanks again for everything you've been doing. We are so excited for the coming weeks here as we start meeting more regularly. And hey, if you haven't gotten out on a Sunday night yet, come and check out what God is doing. It's amazing to get in the house, to worship, and to pray with people. We're excited for September. We're going to be launching mornings. We're going to talk more about that. But we love you so much. Thank you. Celebrate each other and have a great hub tonight.